So happy weekend, everybody! 26th of April, and nearly to the end of the month, and the boats are getting very close. Renaud's not far away. We had a big countdown then because I usually engage the live, and it goes through its software program, and then it takes about 15 seconds or so before it comes up, before it actually starts going live. And I'm a big music fan to a degree. I hate the silence, so I have music playing in the background whenever I'm in the office, but it's all copyright music, so I can't play it, in the background. Otherwise, YouTube and Facebook can sometimes just block you out and say, sorry, that music's all copyright. So I had to rush over and turn it off and come back and then start the counter. And so you got a big pre-count. And if you get sick of that sort of 30 seconds or 40 seconds of countdown, then most people watch the replay. There's only the hardcore. Yes, those 20 odd people there now that are hardcore, the numbers will increase, and we usually get up to, I don't know, maybe 100 and something people watching here. Most of them play the replay, so they'll just have to rewind, or just not rewind, just move forward, just go forward. You won't get that 30 seconds or 60 seconds. Usually what we did in the past, and I should do it now, is we used to have a video playing there. So half the screen would be the counter clock, and the other half would be a video that we just drop in. I just pull up on the screen, but I'm not that organised at the moment. So anyway, it's Saturday night, and I'm a little bit late. I try to be half an hour earlier than this, but there you go. A few things happening. Hope you're having a good weekend. G'day, John. So we'll. I haven't even looked at the tracker today at all. The last time I had a look was last night sometime. So no idea what's going on, but haven't heard any bad reports. So that's all good. And yeah, they seem to be having fun out there at the moment, which is quite cool. So let's have a look. You've got the tracker there, and I'll just go straight to the tracker. So I'm assuming you're hearing and seeing me, which is kind of cool because Jane's in Z land at the moment, although she was watching movies until late. And here we go. So quite a long way between Popeye and Renaud, who's nearly at the finish. He could get in tomorrow. And it's all a nice breeze. Interesting that it's chopped off right at the back there before they turn the corner and head down towards the Tuamotus. There's a big hole there, not much breeze after that. Funny how it all works. And the trades have been consistent, but not super strong, which is pretty good. The pictures and stuff I see coming through sometimes is suggesting they've continued to have a reasonably good run. Nice way to make some tracks to the west across the Pacific. So anyway, enough of that verbal waffle. Let's have a look at what Popeye and John are doing back here. They are making progress. One of them's disappeared again, so they're very close. I'll just keep bringing it up a bit. There they are, side by side. In fact, I have to come up now to get to the other boat. So they're very close. So seeing they're very close, I'll come right up and we can measure it just to see if father likes son and son likes father. So there we go, really close together, and always a bit of fun. Yeah, less than a mile. So absolutely looking at each other. My distance of a mile is the distance from Namuka Iki to Namuka. They're the islands in the Pacific. We used to live on Namuka Iki, and it was a mile across to the community. We were the only ones on the island, so that's how I check out my mile across the water. Anyway, Mike, Popeye, 3.8, 53-mile days. They're just consistently doing 50-mile days. That seems to be it. 51 for John, 4 knots. Nice breeze. We checked that out yesterday. We'll see if the currents have changed. I think it's just bland going out to, there's plenty of current there. But it's all just pushing them out to the northwest. And there's nothing wrong with that either because they had a bit of southing in there. That's interesting. They had a bit of a blip there in the course. So that's looking okay. We'll come back a bit more so we can see what's happening here. Anything in the next couple of days? No. They might get a kick if they're a bit up in here once they get there, but so. And then the breeze, it's just going to hold that probably for the next couple of days. There's one day, the same, swinging a little bit behind, which will slow them down a bit because the apparent wind will drop. but they're very close to the top end of the trades. If we look at that, they've only got probably another day or so, and then they'll be down there. So this was the struggle before for our entrants. Remember, they were all heading south to try and get down there. That's 200 miles away, and they might be into it. So 50 miles a day, it's still going to be 4 days. So anyway, that's their lot. All happy. They're making progress, nearly past the Galapagos, and they'll be happy to hit the trades and start to pick up speed. So here's our fleet, looking all pretty cool. Everyone seems to be happy. So Gary down the back end, 4.2 knots and 102 mile day. That's the magic 100. If you get the 100, you're feeling good. And Josh got 114, 4.2, exactly the same speed as Gary. So that's not too bad. Jasmine, 4.9, 120. So should be happy. Adam, 114. So closing in. It's a tight little pack here, this mid group. And 4.8 knots, so not too bad. Oh, Jacobs, he's still making ground. Jacobs just 124, so pulled away a little bit from Adam at 114. That's 10 miles in the last 24 hours. And Ayrton catching up to Ayrton. He's passing Ayrton. So we've been watching Jacob steadily gain, which is all good fun for them. So, and the others, this is Coconut. They might be gaining on him there. So I could probably pick this up a little bit to give you a bit of a better catch on that. Eric trying to shoot up to the northwest, 108 and 4.8 knots. So they're all doing similar boat speed, but the daily run is varying. So that must have been at a time gone by, sometime in the last 12 hours or something. Some are slowing down. Christian usually up there, hooting along, only did 116 miles and doing 5.2 now, so still better boat speed than the others, or 5.4, that's Coconut, when am I doing it? The others 5.2, and Christian doing 5.2, similar spot. So that's the mid group, sitting there happy. Dan still pulling out there, 4.7, 109, that's pretty average, but I think that's what's, Peeler, 5.3 and 121, Kerry, 5.1 and 119, so Peel is still a little bit better. And Dan, Holiday Dan, is 5.5, 131, so they're moving along. Both Dan, here comes Renaud, 131 versus 127. Dan's still closing in there. He's really getting into it. I'm not sure whether it's maybe he's talking, maybe Wilson, his bowl on board, is talking to him because he's looking very much like the guy from Castaway, the movie. Jeez, I've forgotten his name now. With his long hair and fluffy beard and all the rest of it. So maybe Wilson's recognised him and they're having a solid conversation, and maybe that's why Holiday Dan is moving pretty fast. So Renaud 5.4, 127. Dan's caught up on him another 4 miles. 4 miles a day, not going to be quick enough. So all things considered, it's never over till the fat lady sings. But we can actually see the island. We can, but he can't. So Renaud is now, and it's pretty clear that he's going for the midline here, the middle one. He could have gone to the one down here, which is, I would have gone, it's interesting. I'm just talking. I'm not suggesting that Renaud's done anything wrong. But I think tactically, if I was going, in fact, this is probably where Kerry's going. I don't know whether I should say anything yet because the others are still following. But there's no question that down here and down there is the shortest route because you can see if you go to this one, you save probably 20 miles maybe to get to that one. But when you then start heading down here, you've saved another 20 or so. You could work it out. In fact, you watch this. Hang on. Oops, I just turned it off. This is just hypothetical. I shouldn't be doing this because others will be watching. But let's just say Kerry's coming down here. So the distance for him to this spot here, assuming there is a port there, I'm sure it is, there's one in each of these islands, that's a distance of 96 miles. Okay, so it's 96 miles to there. And then if we just go to here, say that little arrow, 96 and 180 is near enough to 180. So 127. It's 276, right? So there's 276. Oh, hang on, that's not going to work because I'm trying to. Okay, 276. That's fine. So to do that again, I've got to go from sort of here. If he was up there, so 276 versus that one, which is 3. Hang on, now I've forgotten. Cheapers, I've forgotten where I was. Okay, I'm going to start this theoretical again. No, I'm going to take it from where Kerry is. Okay, so if Kerry was going to this turn point here, it's 327. I'm going to write it down. 320. I must have been using Renault. Anyway, 327 to that one, and then from there down, it's another 178. 178. Okay, so that's the total distance to get to that point. If we now go here to here, okay, that's 300 near enough. So that's 300, and then you head down to that similar spot again, 300 plus 179, 179. It's 27 miles shorter, okay, or 28 miles shorter. So you're saving 28 miles. So say 30 miles, it's 6 hours. So it does actually make a difference. Not a huge difference, but it's a difference nonetheless. 6 hours, you know. So it'll be interesting to see who goes where. And we didn't get back to the point to say what's the ETAs here. But the ETA for Renault now, okay, 120 miles. It's 24 hours, near enough. It's 127. So about, you could say, subject to the weather. We'll work that out in a minute. We'll go through the weather for tomorrow, but that's 120 miles for Renault. I'll leave that here, and then Dan is. I'll go behind it so everyone can listen to the ETAs then. So Dan is 70. He's 15 hours behind. So Dan will be 15 hours behind Renault. So if you're following a boat, just remember this. Pilar will be approximately 48 hours behind Renault, so 2 days behind Renault. Kerry will be about the same, something like that. And Holiday Dan is going to be 3 days behind Renault. Okay, it'll be a bit better. I've taken a few liberties there. And so Renault is going to be 24 hours from now. So near enough. So that's his ETA, and it's not a big deal. It's not a whoop whoop. It is, because he's the first one to get to the anchorage, and that's this stage. It's a compulsory pit stop, as you know, 8 days, and it will be quite interesting. But let's just check the weather now to make sure it's going to hold for the next 24 hours to prove that ETA reasonably accurate. Okay, so we hit that and we move it forward 24 hours now. There's still a breeze there. It's softening off just a little bit, but that's by tomorrow, 4 o'clock. So there we go. It's softening off a little bit, but I think he'll keep the speeds up for sure. So 24 hours is near enough, close enough ETA for Renault for the pit stop. And the others, if we keep going, it's getting a bit quieter, and I added a few hours there. So I think the others for Dan and Holiday Dan, Canadan, Pilar, and Kerry is about the same. So there we go through to the 29th. So it's 3 days ahead. There's breeze following through all through there. So some of the others, I think let's just look at the worst case scenario, and that's Gary, to see what we got here, just again to confirm. Everyone can work it out. 120 miles, 10 days. So Gary would be about 10 days from now. So Renault's going to be gone before Gary gets there. Josh is going to be about 9 days. So Renault will just have gone, and Josh will turn up. The others, Jasmine wants to meet up with the team. 6 days. So she'll have a couple of days with Renault before he buggers off, assuming he's going to leave from the same spot. We'll play that by ear. Current-wise, we should have a quick check of the currents. Boom. It's all just generally favourable, but it's giving him maybe half a knot at times. Oh, that's too far ahead. So there we go. Not a lot happening there. Less than, they might get 5 miles in the day. It's still a little bit similar again. The mid fleet's getting a bit better than that, but still not a lot. So that's it. Okay, so I think we're done there. I can't think of anything else to show you. I'll come back and see who's up for a day here. I get on here. Boom, boom. Okay, see if you can throw me. It's the weekend. We can sit here and talk for hours and hours. So hit me with your best. I think we've only got 3 comments, so that's fine. Go watch some good movies. Okay, don't forget to like and share and follow and all that sort of stuff. Press the bells. It's live on YouTube. Yeah, that's good. Thanks, Warren. Adine, Sienna, the journey of Shark. Hey, Don, are the contestants still practicing celestial navigation? No, they're all meant to be perfectly experienced in celestial navigation. And once they've passed the requirement under the notice of race, they don't have to do it because they're all obviously, as you know, using chart plotters and GPS and all that sort of stuff. But it's a nice thing to be able to do. And some of them, having learnt the skill, kind of like doing it. And will continue to do it. You know, it's a nice thing to do. It's when you've got plenty of time on the boat and the conditions are good. It's not so bad. So I've been they're supposed to be qualified at Celestial Navigation for a complete position fix. That's like a morning sight and a meridian passage, or an afternoon sight and a meridian passage to get a position, 2 position lines that cross over to give you actual fix, or a morning and an afternoon sight. Okay, but basically, there was hardly any of them could do it. There was, by the time they got to Panama, or by the time they got to the start in Antigua, there was probably, out of the 15 boats, there was probably about 4 or 5 that could do it. The other 10 hopeless. They had no idea. They were even struggling with a meridian passage, and I told them they had to get up there and make it happen. By the time they needed a meridian passage, by the time they got to Antigua, and then I'd leave it to Panama for them to get their full fix done. And some of them weren't even able to do their full fix by the time they got to Panama. So anyway, they've got a last chance to do and prove that they can do it. And when they get to Marquesas, they have to send us photographs of their plotting sheets, their deck logs, and how it's transferred to the chart to show it's happening. So we're yet to see. But what will happen is, if those that have been given that task to do are actually unable to do that, they will be knocked out. They won't be in the MGR any longer. They will be in the Tracker class, or the John Guswell class, which means they haven't been able to comply with the notice of race. So therefore, it's unfair for those that have been able to comply, and they will be relegated to the John Guswell class. Now, all that means is that they're not in the running for trophies, so they can't win the MGR. They can certainly still continue on in the MGR and do their own independent voyage, because every one of these entrants, not like the GGR and the OGR, where we take an overriding view and their entrance in our race that we are totally managing. They are actually all independent voyages. What we're doing here, doing the daily tracker update and sort of coordinating the event, is just bringing them together into a party, a bit of fun. We're just doing the fun factor. But the total responsibility for their safety and safety management and all the coordination of their logistics, for the ports and customs, immigration, clearance, all that sort of stuff, belongs to the entrant and their manager. Their manager lives with them 24 hours a day. They report to their manager daily, and we have an overview in the background. So if they're not reporting every day, the manager needs to report to us, and if they do get into trouble, then we are there to support the manager so that the manager can handle everything that's going on. So as independent voyagers, they're still cruising around the world. They just wouldn't be racing. So there's a fair bit at stake, and I am black and white on this one. I've given them so much leeway to get to this point, then that's it. So then, as a matter of interest, in the past, for the Transats, we haven't required celestial navigation for the Transat. But that's changed now. So what we're requiring for the 2026 Globe 580 Transat is that all entrants have to show that they can do a meridian passage. Now that's called a noon sight, which is really super simple, and it doesn't require a huge set of tables and bits and pieces or a timepiece, accurate time. It's just measuring the altitude of the or the angle of the altitude at celestial noon, when the sun comes up to its highest point and goes down the other side. They've got to be able to read that sextant angle from the sun to the eye to the horizon, and with the sextant, and then you do your various adjustments for height of eye and sextant bits and refraction, blah blah blah, and you by adding and subtracting like 6 numbers, you will get an east-west position line, which is your altitude above or below the or your latitude above or below the equator, and that's pretty simple. And so that it's only an east-west position line, but going across the Atlantic, that's pretty much all you need. You don't actually need to know where you are to be safe. So if you lost all your GPSs, or there's a World War III starts and they shoot down all the satellites and there's nothing like GPS available, if someone's able to, sorry to bring that up by the way, but if someone's able to do a noon sight with an east-west position line, they will be able to find Antigua, because they know exactly what latitude Antigua is on, and so they just start running down their westing. They won't know how far along that latitude they are, because they're not doing longitude. But before they get close, using DR, if they get on that latitude, they can sail down it to the west, and they will eventually bump into it. Touch wood. Hopefully, they're awake at the time and they see the island. And they say, "Oh, there it is." So we're requiring for the Transat a competency in noon sights. We'd prefer they do the whole lot, but we're not insisting, because it gets a lot more complicated when you have to do a morning sight or an afternoon sight and so on. Anyway, that's a long answer to a short question. So hold your breath. I think we've got, I think there's 5 of the current entrants that haven't fully passed their celestial navigation requirements, and now they need to show. Otherwise, they'll be out of the MGR and carry on. So a big answer for a short question. So thanks, Sienna. Warren, looks like John and Mike took a good course towards the trades and are avoiding the shadow. Yeah, good idea. They'll be happy to get down there. They're making progress. That's the main thing. So that's cool. Tom Hanks, that's it. Good on you, Val. Yeah, I don't know whether that was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. And we've been to the island. The island where they filmed all that is in Fiji, and we've been there a couple of times. It's quite a cool island. Not a very good anchorage there, but it's a cool island. And we'll be back there again, because it's very close to Vuda. But anyway, great movie. And every time I see Dan with his, with the growing hair and the beard and this, that, and the other, it reminds me of Tom Hanks. So, and he's got a Wilson on board. So many bloody Wilsons. You see them everywhere. On the rowboats, a lot of them have got Wilsons, and Captain Coconut's got a Wilson, and now Dan's got a Wilson, and stuff like that. So anyway, yep, but a great movie. It's very cool. Graham, hi, I'm a single-handed sailor heading for a third time to St Kilda. I follow an Australian club called St Kilda. This is St Kilda Yacht Club in Melbourne. Do you have an island called St Kilda in Australia? St Kilda in Australia. Follow all your races. There's not an island, so I'm a single-handed sailor heading for a third time to St Kilda. Oh, there must be an island that he's going to. Is that in the Caribbean? Like it's a St Island, or like St Kitts or whatever? I'm not sure. I'm not sure where your St Kilda Island is, Graham, but we don't have. I follow an Australian club called St Kilda. It might be St Kilda Yacht Club. Do you have an island called St Kilda in Australia? No, St Kilda's a suburb in Melbourne. It's just an area, like a suburb, and it's a St Kilda Yacht Club, down in Melbourne. So there is a St Kilda. I'm sure there is a St Kilda Yacht Club. I don't know St Kilda, but yes, maybe someone in. Oh, we got not many people online at the moment, but that's it. So anyway, Mike and John seem to have got to the trades quicker than others by staying south. Yeah, I haven't done a time comparison to see how long our guys took. I might try and work that out. The first fleet that went through, I'm not sure how long till they got to the trades, but yeah, they're getting close now. So they're 200 miles away, 50 miles a day. It's still 4 days, but they might pick up a bit. We only looked at the weather 2 or 3 days ahead, so not too bad there. Shannon, or a general apocalypse? Yeah, right. Van and the roaches would make it. Yep, absolutely. The world is an amazing place, and I feel very lucky. I think we're all very lucky to be doing what we do. And an interesting one, I won't talk about the war and all the shit that's going on, but it's funny because one of my deep connections to this whole thing, and I'm waffling a bit because it's the weekend, the reason that Jane and I are supporting Adventure is very clear. And it was a decision I made over 20 years ago to support Adventure because I've always supported Adventure. It gets hammered sometimes, who's going to pay for the rescue and blah, blah, blah. So it's responsible risk taking. But I very strongly believe that anyone involved with an adventure, it makes them better people, makes them stronger people, gives them confidence, makes them a good communicator, gives them very strong experience with value judgments and risk assessment and all that sort of stuff, which you can't learn in books and you can't do it at school and all those sorts of things. So when young people get involved with adventure, they get all the same benefits, and they're the attributes that make that is really valuable for their entire life. And it usually makes better people, and they're the people that become business leaders. Because if you're going to run a business is, if you're running a small business, it's exactly the same as adventure. It's exactly the same as sailing around the world. You have no idea of the outcome, and most small business people, their biggest challenge is the attraction is part of the challenge. Yes, they want to make money, but it's got a huge unknown outcome. And so if you've been involved with adventure and self-discipline and all those sorts of aspects, you can be better at business. You can be a community leader. You can possibly, dare I say it, even be a good politician. Entrepreneurs, the whole lot. They all benefit from the attributes that you learn with adventure. And so that's the reason we do all this. And part of that, when I was young, it was all about peace and love and save the world. It was a great era in the 60s and 70s, I've got to tell you, free love and all that sort of stuff. And there was still potential conflicts back then. But now, the world's such a mess that we need good people. We need a lot of good people that have got a lot of common sense and understand a lot of things. So adventures like the Mini Globe Race inspire a lot of people that are watching to go and do things, and adventures are a good thing, So a bit of a sidekick there, but that's just to what was the comment from there? Anyway, I got distracted, but we're nearly done. How did I get to? I'm not seeing what's going on here. Yeah, okay. Graham, yes, you go to St Kilda Yacht Club then, yeah. Okay, did I miss something here? I'm just scrolling through. There it is. Okay. Alrighty, Sienna, the journey of shark. Like always, love the long answers to short questions. Okay, where's your question? Come on. Anyway, thank you. St Kilda is in the North Atlantic, most west place in Britain. Oh, right, okay. I didn't know that. So that's cool. Okay, so you're headed to St Kilda now, or we're following that one anyway. So that's cool. I'm glad you're enjoying the. In fact, what happened today? I had someone bagging the 580 about something or other. But it's interesting. I have a whole new respect for everything that our guys are doing in the race now. When I see a lot of people, posting their stuff on YouTube, which is all really fun. I never watched. I hardly. In fact, I've virtually never watched TV. It's all on YouTube, and I enjoy some of the sailing programs. Some of the people doing that stuff, and everyone puts videos up, which is really good. Because I enjoy it. A lot of people do, but some of them, say, sail across, and I'm not detracting from the people doing it, but I'm sailing across in a 34 footer or something like that, which is all cool. But then I think, geez, our guys are using 19 footers. It's really quite amazing, and we haven't had huge traction from the media yet, but the media is following. Certainly, all the voting media, they all know that it's on, and let's wait and see what happens. By the time they get to Cape Town, I think there'll be a few interesting stories going on. Touchwood. So anyway, I think we should get out of here. Okay, St Kilda and Hebrides, local name is Herta. Aha. Okay, starting to make sense. So that's cool. All right. Shannon, completely expect nothing, experience everything. Yeah. Okay, just my signing off thing. I was just explaining to someone the other day. I mean, I'm a great believer in 5 year projects. 4 or 5 year projects. My whole life has been 4 and 5 year adventures. That's how long they take to go. But at the same time, I was explaining to someone, you've got to live for today because everything about life is today. Yesterday is all about it's gone, it's history, all right? Today is everything, and tomorrow's the future. But you don't know what's going to happen. So many people don't make the future. So we're all very lucky, and we've got some great sailors out there having a hell of a time and doing some really cool stuff. So, okay. Oh, I don't want to get into it, Warren. What if he sets off sailing? Nah, they got replacements for Starlink, so don't despair. It's all happening. But anyway, interesting days ahead. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. It's a fun ride. Appreciate all your comments and bits and pieces, and we'll see you tomorrow. Sounds cool. Okay, see you later.
Witness history in the making. The McIntyre Mini Globe Race 2025. Small boat, huge adventure.